This is a tutorial of how to use the sum, average, and count functions in Excel. We have our set of numbers that we'd like to add, average, and count. Here first in the status bar, if you're already in a workbook and you just want a quick sum, count, or average, you can look down at the status bar and you see that the average of these is 33.75, the count is 8, and the sum is 267, and that will always be of your selected numbers. So if you only wanted to do the first 4, you have the count 4, and that updates on the fly. So as you add another one to the selected criteria, it puts it in there. If you had a larger set of numbers and you wanted to use the function itself, you would type equals sum, open parentheses, select the numbers, close parentheses, and hit enter, and that will return the sum. Another way that you can use the sum function is equals sum, open parentheses, and then you can literally just type numbers. So 100, comma, 150, comma, 200, and that'll return the sum of the numbers that you typed in. And then a third way is the sum if, where you can select criteria. So in our first column we have months, and then we have numbers that are beside that. So we only want to add the numbers that have June beside them. So we would do equals sum if, open parentheses, and then we have the range that we're looking through. So this is going to be where our criteria comes from. And then we hit comma, and then we are looking for the criteria that's in this cell, which is June, comma, and then we do the range that we want to sum. And then we close our parentheses and hit enter. So you'll see that we return 31. And if you look above, next to June, we have 18. And then below we have 13. And the sum of those two numbers is 31. Average has the same abilities. To use the function, we would type equals average, open parentheses, highlight the numbers we'd like to select, close parentheses, and 33.75. You can also do the same with typing the numbers in, equals average, do 2, 6, 8. Close parentheses, 5.3 is the average of those numbers. And then again with the average if, we can use the criteria where we would do equals average if, open parentheses, we would select the range that our criteria comes from, comma, the criteria itself, again we're going to use this cell as June, comma, and then the range that we'd like to return the average from, close parentheses, enter, and again you see June, you'll have the 13 and the 18, and the average is going to be 15.5. The reason we use this cell is because we can change this now. So the June, if we type March in here, it would return the average of the March numbers. So 49, 19, and 15, and you see down here the average is 27.66. Now with count, we have the same features, equals count, open parentheses, highlight the range that we're looking at, close parentheses, and it returns 8, similar to when we just select the cells and count them. You could count a number of things. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count is very similar. If you type equals count, open parentheses, and then highlight the numbers you'd like to count, close parentheses, and hit enter, you'll see that it returns the 8, similar to if you highlight them and look at the status bar. What you can do with count that's a little bit different is you can use count A or count blank. That's going to count things that aren't numbers or count the blanks that are there. So let's start with count A, equals count A, open parentheses, we'll select the same range of cells and hit enter. Now what's different here is if we take a number completely out, they both go to 7. But if we insert letters into the cell rather than numbers, so we'll do April again, you'll see that count A still counts that. So it will count text or numbers, where count will only count numbers if they're in the cell. So let's take that back out. And then count blank equals count blank, open parentheses, and we'll highlight the same range again, close parentheses. And because we have that one blank in there, what count blank does is it only counts blanks within the range. So if there's nothing in there, no text, no numbers. So again, if we put April in there, our count A, which counts text or letters, will go up, and our count blank will go to 0. Countif is very similar to average if or sumif, equals countif, open parentheses. We'll do this range, comma, criteria, comma, and close. And so now we're only counting, so we don't need to count the number, we're counting just the entries that are June here. So instead of counting or adding or averaging the number that's in the second row, we don't need to do that. It's just counting the number of things within the range that are of the criteria. So if we change June to March, you'll see that we have 3 March entries versus the 2 June entries, and that counts that up and changes. If this was helpful, please hit like, subscribe to the channel. I should have a lot more videos coming out.